My
Oh,
computer's really
fuck.
slow.
Yeah, I
But
know. I normally play a song before, like to open the show. Actually, what do you normally do? You play a intro, don't you? Don't you have an
yeah,
intro?
we have an intro theme song that's coming up here in a few short seconds if I extend this
Nice.
sentence long enough.
Well,
All right, I'll stop it. Um,
nice.
we'll
Way
make
off
this.
topic radio joined with Phoenix West's movie review show.
That was
Something.
an aggressive. I'm not recording anymore, by the way.
Oh,
You said you wanted to do a theme song, so
oh no, that was perfect. Trust me.
oh,
Way
damn
off
it.
topic radio, brother. Hit record again. Do it
All right.
over. This is perfect.
Do you edit your shows after? Let me
Mm,
ask you that.
I edit
Like, can
sound
you? Can you?
quality.
Can
I
you cut out? Because we're
no.
going to introduce two shows here. Are you going to cut any of this out? Or are you going to leave it in?
I'm leaving it all in.
Okay, fuck it. We're moving on. I'm going to start playing here. We're going to start recording right now.
Yep.
We're doing Way Off Topic Radio. We're also doing LAW movie review, just formerly known as Lloyd Wonderland. But here's my theme song here again. Hello, citizens. Welcome to Lloyd Wonderland episode 70. And what episode is this of Way Off Topic Radio? Any idea?
I don't keep track of that shit.
Who goddamn knows? Is what Frank says.
I put a date on it, and if people see it in the show notes, the very short show notes of this show, it's like a bunch of numbers that nobody really knows what they are. It's a date.
You have like a weird, the Zodiac killer, like his
It'll
scrambled
be,
notes of nonsense.
well, I guess it'll be like 102117 dot, dot
You're gonna
dash dash.
that Jake Gyllenhaal. You're gonna get him. It's a
I
Zodiac
I
reference.
love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Um,
Gyllenhaal. Yo, his sister's ugly as shit, by the way.
Gyllenhaal. She is. Speaking of another movie trilogy slash five movie series slash way more than five probably. Anyway, her as Rachel Dawes in Dark Knight drives me goddamn nuts. She's such a
Oh,
fucking cunt. I hate that bitch. I like Maggie Gyllenhaal. Don't get me wrong. It's just her portrayal is such an icy cunt. I hate her. I like
oh.
actively root for her death.
I was so mad that, it was, well, yeah, no, I was happy she was dead. Yeah. Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
yeah, for the 9-year-old movie now.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Sorry, guys.
I don't know how to do the intros. We're doing two shows here. So your intros are done for your show. So on my show, I'm Phoenix West.
Hey, Phoenix.
Who are you?
Frank Links. Oh, yeah. And I'm Frank Links. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
this
That's
is
right.
kind of interesting. This is a is this
This
the
is
first is this the first time we did this? Like
this
technically,
is like a like
yeah.
two
This is like
shows mashed together.
the Harlem Globetrotters on Scooby Doo. This is a mishmash of insanity. I don't know
Speaking
why
of the
that's
Harlem Globetrotters, don't mean to
why is
cut
that
you
the
off,
first one went.
but people in Philly remember, I don't know if you do, but the Harlem Globetrotters played a game against the 76ers on top of the Spectrum's um, roof one time because the roof collapsed. And to prove that the roof was okay, so people would come into the Spectrum again because they were, so they weren't afraid of, getting killed going to a Sixers game.
Just
Which
tell me the roof caved in when they're playing.
no, no, no. The game went on. The Harlem Globetrotters did the.
I was hoping the Washington Generals like bomb the roof or something just to take them down finally.
Well, I mean, after that, people had one less thing to worry about. Something killing them at a Sixers game in Philly, in
Why
South
does
Philly.
Philadelphia have to keep upping the ante on being insane?
Because look, it's not what's the word on purpose.
Oh, okay, so it's accidental.
Yeah, it's just how we are here. It's this place, this area is cursed.
It's
Uh,
cursed land.
it is, man. It's cursed. It's
It's
evil.
cursed. It used to be like the capital, and now it's like just a left alone.
It's pretty much one of the only cities that was a capital of this country that was literally taken over.
Yeah,
So congratulations, Philly, you lost.
just like your sports teams.
But hey, but on Christmas we're gonna murder all of you.
Yeah.
Great, great idea, George.
Are we doing Die Hard? I keep. I feel like we're way into this episode. We haven't even discussed what we're doing.
Oh yeah. So
So the movie review, episode 70 for Die Hard. What's the Syncology? I don't know what you call a 5 movie series.
well, we're just gonna go over Die Hard. Well, no, a five movie thing is an anthology.
That's it. Because that if you do 50 movies, it's an anthology.
Well, we kind of ran into this whole problem when Pez and I did that whole Alien thing, where we
Okay.
did all the Alien movies, and now we have to fucking do Alien Covenant.
So how come when? No, you're right. Okay. I was trying to think of what the Alien box set was for. It was a four, but that was called. That was a quadrilogy. Um,
Yeah.
I was thinking that was anthology as well.
After four, yeah, it's just
It's kind of like the
anthology.
orgy thing. Like one's masturbations, two's sex, three's a threesome, four you have a foursome, five's an orgy, or
Fuck
five,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
after that
five
it's
plus.
yeah, it's just an orgy.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I'll accept that. As long as we put
Lot
it
of
in
fun.
sexual terms, I am willing to move on with it. But we decided we're going to discuss the diehards. I know most of them fairly well. One of them we've done on this very show here. I think it's episode 5, one of the first episodes ever of Lord and Wonderland. It is terrible, but we'll get there. Frank, you said you've seen Live Free or Die Hard. You're not real familiar with it, and you haven't seen Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, I've never seen number five. Number four, the only reason I bothered was Timothy Olyphant because I have a huge man crush on that
He's a
sexy
sexy
man.
beast. He's a sexy beast.
Dude, come on. Remember that movie with him and those two girls and the guy in Hawaii?
In Hawaii?
Yeah, it was him and
Just
his
say,
bitch uh and then the other two.
I
It
love
was
when you describe movies, by the way. 'Cause that is, no.
Mila Jovovich was the other girl,
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking
and they
about.
were smoking crack on the beach. What the
I
fuck
don't
was
think
that
this is a
movie
movie. I think
called?
this is them hanging out on the beach.
Anyway, Timothy Olyphant was in it. He got shot in the head, and it just skimmed him. So he just wrapped his head around, wrapped his head with like a bandana, and just tied it off because he's so badass. You
I
know,
don't want what it was 'cause I don't want any spoilers here.
I'm just
Uh,
saying. I gotta
Die
find out
Hard,
what that is.
right?
So
Tell
yeah,
me about your experiences with Die Hard growing up. I'm curious.
well, let's see. The first one was my first introduction to Die Hard. It was the first one I ever saw since they made that one first. And I was alive then, so that was cool. Um, I don't know. I hated that. It was actually the first time I was ever introduced to old school rap, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
80s rap, and that's
was
when I
PNC?
realized I hated it.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of like that sort of shit where it's like it's almost rap and grind.
Oh.
But yeah, it's bad. It's necessary to get where they are now, which is also again bad. But
Well,
it
they
was a good period
peaked.
there. Yeah,
I would say they peaked like late '90s, early 2000s. Like Biggie started the peak, and then Eminem, and then it just kind of woo.
yeah,
When people started taking Kanye like as serious, I was like, okay, it's over.
yeah. It's See, I even go a little further back than that. I go with P Diddy once because I was like, I don't get it. I don't like him. I don't
I hate him.
I don't hear anything of value here at all. He needs to stick with producing. And I say the same thing about Kanye. Anyway, we're already off topic there. Die
Well,
Hard.
Bush hates black people.
Yeah, he does. He
Remember that?
made the levees fail just because he hates black people.
Mike Myers had a look of fuck. Uh, where do you go from that?
Apparently, you do nothing for 15 years, according to Mike Myers.
Dude, he had a great set of hair though. That when he did that though, didn't he? It was a great, just I was jealous of his haircut. I liked it. Anyway,
So,
moving on. Die
Die
Hard.
Hard.
So, yeah, I mean, I realized I hate '80s rap. It sucks. Um, I if I ever meet an Argyle, I'll punch him in the face because I. How can somebody have so much fun with themselves in a limo? I mean,
He,
I,
he makes 2 phone calls to ladies. He doesn't seem like a ladies' man.
no,
His goddamn Argyle. He does this. Actually, this movie's kind of a pioneer for this. I think. I guess it happened a lot in like '80s mall movies, where it was the disconnected '80s slash '90s character. It's in the movie Godzilla, if you remember, with Matthew Broderick, where they have the headphones on, and they're playing music, so chaos is just erupting around them, and they don't hear anything, just nothing, and it's like gun, and it's like, here's a little
he's like,
story I got to tell. Like, just listen to the
yo,
yeah,
and now
rocking out.
speaking of rocking out and shit, I've been noticing something, and this is not racist. I want to preface this, okay? It
That's what we
does.
say before we say something racist. So,
It's not racist though, because it's an actual observation
but
that
can we burn all the black? No.
no, gas,
Yeah.
gas chambers was a bad idea. No,
There's
um,
much more efficient ways.
so many more. I've noticed so many people walking down the street, and they're just rap. They are rhyming their butts off, man. They are having a good time, and am I missing a good time, or is this something new? Because I don't remember seeing this. I mean, I remember the big boom box and people walking down the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
I remember that, and then
Cut up.
that went away.
Yeah.
Y- You know,
I feel like black people have a much deeper connection with music than I ever will because they are, when I see black people, like you were mentioning, walking down the street, listening to music, or just, don't have a care in the world.
no,
And this isn't even a racist talk because I'm jealous. I really, truly am because they're just like in their own world. And I'm like, God, I would kill for that
I
because I'm
know.
just inside all the time, all the time. Feel nothing
I am. I
except
don't
jealous.
want to feel anything because if I do, I'll just start getting real depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a terrible thing to be white. Trust me.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
not. It's not as great as what everybody thinks it is, unless you're pulled over by a cop.
okay.
If that ever actually happens to you, right? High five.
Speaking of cops, let's get back to Die Hard here.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
go
A
through,
cop from
go
New
through Die
York.
Hard. Finish up 1, go to 2 and 3 there. We'll go through 3 with your experiences.
Oh, three was actually three
Just gonna skip 2.
was.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. So one, I was young. In '88, I was in. I
It
can't.
doesn't have to be when you came out, just how it affected your life, I guess.
Um, I feel as though I have to watch one, two, and three at least three times a year. And every Christmas I have to watch all three of them in a row.
Yes, yes. I feel like that's become such a cliche, kind of like the bad Christmas sweater parties. But it was things that, like, when I was younger, Die Hard. We used to watch Die Hard as like on Christmas, like
Right.
when I was young, and now it's just like, Die Hard's one of my favorite Christmas movies, and it's like, ha ha ha. It's like it's a stupid joke now, and I'm like, that still means something to me. Like,
It's
I
not a joke.
hate that it's
It's
become cliche.
reality.
Yeah, I hate that now, but now you know what I mean. Now it's become like people say that so they sound clever, and I hate it because it used to be like an actual thing, and now it has to be stupid and like I was saying with the Christmas parties, ugly Christmas party sweaters, the Christmas sweater parties, where you would just wear ugly Christmas sweater and it would be fun, and now it's like commercial, and I literally saw it on commercials, and it's in movies now, and it's just like, and you killed it, good job, you had to cash in on it.
Dude, I heard that one of my good friends, he met a girl, he got married to her, and all that, and now they go to Christmas party, like sweater making parties, and they make their own sweaters with each other, and when I heard that, I'm like, we have officially lost Mike. Mike's gone.
That is a so you have fun with your friends. I'm gonna go do literally anything else. I will blow dudes in an alleyway for an hour and a half while you're doing this shit. I'm not
For
gonna be involved.
free.
Yeah, I will
Don't
pay
even
them
charge.
like Basketball Diaries. I will pay them. I'll pay a young DiCaprio to blow him, and then I will come back when you're done. I'll pick you up, give you a couple toots in the horn, and then you step out into the Camaro, and then we head out.
How
I'm
did
not
you
going
know I
into
had a
that.
Camaro?
Are they doing like cross stitching? What the fuck? How are they? I don't know how to do anything.
I can't knit. Dude, if I get a rip in my jeans, in the trash. I can't fix
Yeah,
that.
I would make a cock sweater 9 times out of 10. With a
It won't
button
be
on
a
it, but
tree. It'll be a giant cock.
it'd be a tiny cock sweater.
It'll
It's
be like a
it's
big red sweater with a little cock right here,
well,
like
I feel like
like
what
the
you see,
alligator.
yeah, I've seen like those little cock sweater things, and they always make it for the erect penis, but what good is that going to do? It's already warm at that point. You want one for your tiny flaccid cock and balls. You don't want it for when it's fully enraged, because when it's fully enraged, you want that shit to be seen.
Fuck
So
right.
unleash the sweater.
Yeah. Are you a grower, not a shower as well?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm a woman half the time, or most of the time actually,
You
until
ever
I'm ready to
uh,
go.
you ever look at it and you're like, oh,
Yeah, poor guy. Like,
yeah. Then sometimes I go to the bathroom, like during the middle of the day. I'm like, hey, look at you. Like, you've been working out.
like every once in a while, I'll have a really good presentation flaccid, and I'm like, I gotta get a picture of this bitch.
Yeah, yeah. And just while it's peeing,
Yeah. I mean, like, has your aim, like, over the years just gotten better or worse?
better, better.
Yeah, me too. Like, I can just stand there, dude. I don't even need to hold it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I remember being a kid. We're so off topic. Anyway,
I know. Way off topic
yeah,
radio.
I was just gonna say when I was a little kid, I remember like sitting there with my arms on my hips and doing that little swivel thing with your hips and like going around the bowl and
Yeah.
like missing horribly half the time. So if you have an 8-year-old boy at your home right now, he's in the bathroom, he's pissing all over your tile floor. It's a fact.
Oh,
The side of your cabinets, it's just a piss fest. It is like a fucking weird German porn in your bathroom going on right now.
and if there's a Christmas party and you have a cousin that is really close to your age, they are definitely going to pee together. It's
Yes,
it's not a gay thing or nothing. It just you just do it because it's like,
yeah.
I can write my initials real quick in the bowl. Watch.
I never did that with anybody, but one time I had a Christmas party and then a bunch of terrorists broke in and they disrupted the party. And
Did they
go.
want a ransom or?
Well, they want prisoners to be released from all over the world as a ruse for the FBI.
Oh, right. And they're
Anyway,
going with the FBI
go.
playbook. Okay, so anyway, all right,
We're not
so
gonna get through these.
all right, Die Hard. Now I remember being blown away with the whole touch screen thing, and I felt bad for him when she
He
wasn't
checks the
McLean.
lobby. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back then being like, wow, and it turns out it was just an iPad.
Yeah. Um. And what about two? I want to finish yours, and then I'll go on to mine.
Okay, two I
Speak.
actually didn't watch until after I seen three 100 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went from one to three, and three blew me the fuck away. I loved it, dude. Three is like the best out of all of them, as far as I'm concerned. Three is like on a whole nother level. I mean, one is great. Three is magnificent. Two is cool. Four Timothy Olyphant was in it, and five is I fucking no clue. Was it good?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there, Frank.
But at any rate, there was a lot of I mean Samuel L. Jackson breakout movie, really. I mean,
Yeah.
and here's another thing. Did you know that was supposed to be Morpheus's role?
That was terrible. He's so low key for that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
You know how boring that would be? He
Oh,
makes that movie. He really does. It's John McClane's movie, but he steals the show. He
fuck
does.
yeah.
Well, and Anyway, so I'll do mine in a hurry because you stole all the time. But
I'm so, dude, we got plenty of time. It's right way up Taco Bell radio, baby.
Die Hard, Jihad. I almost said it really strangely.
You
Sounds like Joey Behar.
you kind of did
Di-
actually.
I'm sorry.
You did say it strangely.
Yeah, that was weird. Die Hard for me, it was this weird kind of in the kind of the primordial ooze of my brain because it was like one of the first movies I saw.
Really?
I remember having this vivid reaction to I don't want to say reaction, a vivid memory of the shot of Hans Gruber falling off the building there at the end, the slow motion. I didn't know, and then years later, because this movie came out when I was 4, so I remember I don't know. The first movie I saw in the theater was Batman. The next year, I
Oh,
remember
you've
that.
seen this in the theater?
No, not this, not Die
Oh,
Hard.
okay, okay.
I saw. I'm saying I just like kind of going through like a little phase there of like my first memories of movies. So years later, like we're talking like a couple years into the '90s here, and I was like, I couldn't get that image out of my face. I'm like, what movie is that from? Like I could not forget it. And then it was weird because I watched Die Hard a bunch, and I was like, I finally realized I'm like, oh, like that's what that was from. It was just a scene of Hans Gruber, and it was like like embedded into my brain. Just that shot of him falling, and I was like mesmerized by it, and then I learned to love the movie around it in a weird way. It's kind of a weird way to love the movie.
No, I get it though because that scene's iconic, dude.
It is. I was like, oh my god, it was so fucking. I still watch it like I watched it a couple days ago when I was talking to you, and I still watch that scene of him falling. It is so beautiful.
It
It was
really
just
is.
it looks amazing.
And like how his hair is like down,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden it just flares up slowly because he's falling.
Dun,
Like, it was
dun,
beautiful.
dun. Yeah, and he's like slowly trying to point the gun at him while they're undoing the watch, and then they undo it, and he falls. We'll get into the specifics in a minute here. I'm sorry, I'll fast forward.
No, it's okay.
Two I watched when I know right after Die Hard. I liked it, but I was a little confused what was going on. It's a kind of for a kid, it's got a lot more going on as far as what they're doing because you got the SEAL team or like the fucking wherever that what's that big black dude? What's the actor's name? Whatever military team he was with, it was like who's going on, and you got some naked Tai Chi going on there with William Sadler, and then you have another group. I just couldn't quite follow it. It was a way more complex movie for a kid. And then 3 came out, and I was 11, and that's like prime age because that was like my age of HBO. We discussed this on the last when we did Under Siege 2, where it was like all these movies that were on HBO all the time. And I saw
That was
this.
a loop.
Yeah, I saw Die Hard: The Vengeance, and I was like, holy shit! Like I couldn't believe it, and I was like, it came out the same year as Bad Boys, and both of those movies I just watched nonstop that whole year. And Bad Boys, I eventually stopped watching so much. Like I haven't seen it in a while now. I love the movie, but Die Hard with a Vengeance, I could watch every single day and really have zero complaints. I have that movie memorized.
Oh yeah.
It is by far my favorite Die Hard, and you get a lot of shit saying that. I posted something recently on Facebook and got some shit for liking 3 the most. It's
I don't know why because it literally is in a level stratosphere all by itself.
so you were complaining before we started recording that Die Hard on IMDb only has an 8.2. Did you see the score for With a Vengeance? Go look at it and try not to shit yourself.
7.6?
Yes. So they're saying
What?
it's 75, like 76% good. I love. Okay, so now we'll start breaking down some of the movies. We'll do the first 3 together, and then we'll break down 4 and 5 after this because that'll go quick because we don't, I don't know shit about them really.
Timothy
So,
Olyphant.
yeah, 1 is an amazing movie. 2 is good but flawed. There's a lot of flaws in it. There really is.
Oof.
3 is an amazing, flawless movie for me. And what part of what makes 1 and 3 work so well together? First of all, same director, John McTiernan. Second one has Rennie Harlin, who's one of the worst directors. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing he actually was able to pull it off the
it's
way he
no
did.
Cutthroat Island. Um,
I've never
at
seen it.
least, is he still married to Gina Davis? I have to imagine they're still married. I don't know what else he would do that would be better.
His
Anyway,
first name's Rennie. I'm gonna guess they're divorced.
Rennie's a divorcee name.
Yeah, oh,
Uh,
definitely.
so 1 and 3
You're
tie
dying
together so
alone,
well.
named Rennie.
Will you let me finish? No.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I was trying to remember what I was. 1 and 3 tied together really well. Um, because like I said, same director. It's got the same pacing to it. It has the same. It has a brother of the same villain. It has kind of the same stakes. This 3 has increased and everything, but it's got a similar vibe to it. 2 is kind of just a shoot 'em up. It's just a nonstop gunfire. He blows up a plane. It's kind of like the Bad Boys 2 of the series, where it's just like
I wouldn't go
mindless
that
acts.
far.
No, I don't. I also don't want to go that far, but it's kind of the feeling you get when you watch it, where you're like, it's got the Die Hard feel to it. It's kind of like Die Hard. It's got the feel, but the
Die
caliber's
Hard
not
Light.
there. Yeah, you're just not getting the full experience. You do know what I mean, though. It's just
No,
like
I know exactly what you
I
mean.
see the pieces are here, the framework's here. It's kind of like they built the skeleton of a house, like they got the structure up. They just haven't finished it with all the same paint the drywall's cheaper. They're doing thinner drywall. They're just not putting any real. The details aren't there. They're not working that hard in the details, and it sounds stupid for an action movie, but the details for Die Hard is what makes it Die Hard.
Yeah, it's like it was already set up for him. He just needed to, turn the camera on.
Yeah.
It
And
was, yeah.
I
So
will say this: Die Hard 2 could have been so much worse.
great.
It could have been fucking terrible. In which case, no 3. So I want to thank Rennie Harlin for doing, I believe, the best he could with his talent. It sounds so insulting, but I mean
Well,
it that way. I do mean it as an insult. He's a terrible director. I almost said I don't know that, but look at his track record. Fuck that guy.
I mean,
Anyway,
can you even remember what city that was in?
Dulles Airport in Washington D.C.
Thank you. I forgot.
Yeah. This is my life. This is what I like, and that's part of the problem for me was okay. First one is in L.A. John McClane moves from New York, or doesn't move. He visits from New York to L.A. He visits L.A. to see his wife, who moved there, Holly Gennaro. She moved there for a job. He gets into some chaos, and then that's the movie in L.A. Second one, I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. For some reason, he went to D.C. from New York to visit his to visit the airport because his
Be-
mother-in-law is flying there, and some reason Holly's inbound as well.
I
to
don't
the
know. Yeah,
store.
there was nothing tying it into the Die Hard. Like,
Yes,
they're from New York. She went to L.A. What the fuck does DC have to do with anything?
that's what I'm saying. Why have it in DC?
I don't know.
I don't understand why they're there. Nobody
I
understands. There's a scene in the opening where he's spouting out exposition to this fucking guy when his car's getting towed, and he's just like, "Hey, that's my mother-in-law's car because my wife's flying in here." I'm like, so he's staying with his mother-in-law to pick up his wife while why is he there? What? Why aren't they together? They're together in the movie.
Yeah, and why are all the cops like a stereotype
Nazis.
Chicago cop?
Yeah, the Chicago cops in D.C., which is
Get
several
it?
hundred miles away.
Yeah.
Oh God! And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm saying. There is it has all the framework for Die Hard. It's just missing those details. It has the most expositional dialogue in the beginning that I could not follow, even though he's just like basically saying like, "Here's why I'm here." Oh, and also this, like just saying it out like a text manual. I don't know why he's in DC. The third one, I like it because he's completely detached from that life. He's a fucking like train wreck at this point. He's hungover.
He's
He's
an
in his
alcoholic.
turf. It's the first time we see John McClane, a New York cop, in New York, and you see him in his environment. That's what makes it so fascinating to me. They didn't cop out and go to a third city for no reason. That's not his hometown. he's not a fish out of water at this point.
Oh, he's
Which
right at
sounds like,
home.
yeah, it sounds like it could be a complaint that he's not a fish out of water again, but it works so well because it's him like giving up on life at this point. It really seems like I love it. I don't know. It's and the rest of them are just what the fuck ever.
By the way, Phoenix, do you have any Tylenol? I've had a bad fucking headache all day.
It's your lucky day.
keep keep the bottle.
Yeah. Keeps the bottle. Uh, too bad it says Norte de Bortes.
North of the border.
Yeah, it's
Why I have no idea, but I didn't care because he had one bullet left and he had to say yippee ki motherfucker. And of course, John McClane can shoot an electrical wire off of a
yeah,
very
two
tall,
bullets left. Yeah.
very tall like pole, so it can
Yeah,
go
it's, at
into the
it's colored
helicopter.
light. I don't know why their electrical lights are colored like Christmas tree strands. I don't want to get what's going on there in Canada at this cheap motel that for some reason has its own like medical suppository because I Tylenol. I don't get that at all. But whatever, you kind of accept these things in the moment. It didn't really bother me. When you think about it, you're like, why did they have Tylenol with their name on it? Whatever, okay.
Well, no, because Simon suffers from migraines.
Yeah,
Uh,
but why does the hotel have its own label on a bottle of fucking Tylenol?
I never got it, but never cared.
Yeah, I also didn't. In number three, so number one it's Hans Gruber, and then he kills him at the end. Number two is not related in any way. Number three has Hans's brother, Simon Gruber, born Simon Gruber. He's He's trying to kill John McClane, also while he's still trying to steal from the Federal Reserve in New York.
Not
He,
trying. They successfully did it.
it's true. That's true. The he it's Jeremy Irons who is, and then they also have a female Jeremy Irons, which I found to be fascinating.
She was sexy as fuck, wasn't she?
It's just a female Jeremy Irons. I couldn't figure out why they have someone that looks exactly like him, just female form. So weird.
I would, dude.
You
Would
should fuck her. She looks like she likes to be violently fucked. By the way they're
and
interrupted.
I love to violently fuck. So yeah, man.
I'm not. I like to keep my violence and my sex separate. I don't know.
Ah, dude, put it
Or,
together and it's
the
like
violence
amazing.
first, when you slaughter the woman, and then sex after with her. You gotta keep it separate. I don't want to mix them.
I'm
It's too confusing. I don't want to chop off my own dick. That's just the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't want to. No, I'm not saying mixing pain with it because I'm not a sadist or anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know,
I'm a masochist, though.
the harder the better, I say.
Yeah, yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, no. Yeah, yeah, no.
So
No,
you're
they
a,
know.
so what you're saying is you're a tender lover. You
No, no. I'm selfish. I'm,
I I go first. You're on your own.
I go first, and if you're not even there, that's fine too.
See, I'm the opposite. You need to go 4 times before I can even bother. So I'm a giver. You
We're
know.
trying to get laid in this show.
Hey, dude, I fucked last night. It's great.
I'm asexual now. I'm good. I don't need it.
It so
More.
you're like Varus.
Who? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much. I'm a eunuch.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Just
And
chop.
perhaps a mermaid or merman, but I guess we'll have to wait for season 8.
Get a merman. Have you seen the trailer for the new uh, Justice League movie?
I mean, dude,
What the fuck is going on in that trailer? I could not follow anything that was happening.
at this point with the whole Marvel thing and all I have totally missed the boat, dude.
It's DC. It's not Marvel. It's DC.
Is it? See what I mean? I have no idea. I don't even know who's in it. I mean, the only one which one has Jeremy Renner in it?
That's Avengers.
See, I watched that one, but that's because of Jeremy Renner. It's my other man crush.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird.
I have two of
Uh,
them. Well, no, I've
You're weird looking man crush.
Dude, he's hot. I mean, he's a great
Fucking,
actor.
he looks like an impish elf, dude. He looks like he was squeezed out of Matt Damon or something. He just has
Matt
this weird look.
Damon.
Yeah, he looks like that. The puppet Matt Damon.
Is
Uh,
is Matt
uh,
Damon a good actor?
I like Matt Damon. I like him just fine.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, what I was gonna say was the not Wonder Woman. I haven't seen that yet. The Justice League trailer. It's got Wonder Woman. It's got Aquaman. It's got. I don't think they're doing uh, Green Lantern or anything. But it's got Batman.
I hope not.
Shit like that. So it's got Ben Affleck. So close enough to Matt Damon. Anyway, the trailer.
Whoa, time out. Did you just say did you just say that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are interchangeable, one and the same? They were in Dogma together, sure.
And Good Will Hunting.
Okay, yeah, but I
And
don't
Chase Me.
okay, yeah. Matt Damon is such a
Bob
better
Pickett.
actor than Ben Affleck
I
is.
like Ben Affleck. He's I think you should stick to directing. My personal. He's a really good director. Can't fucking deny that.
No, I
Anyway,
can't.
let's get back to this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
We have to
trailer was
radio.
going on, and I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I felt like I was watching a random scene out of Transformers, because I was like, what the fuck is happening? It's this shit flying through the air, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. I couldn't focus on it. It's like for people with like spastic ADD, like it was fucking so aggressively insane and incoherent. I was getting like angry. I was getting angry. I felt like a crazy old man, like old man Phoenix over here, just like what's going on? Like I couldn't. I'm like, there's so many colors and Aquaman flying. I'm like, the motherfucker's in the ocean. Why is he flying? I couldn't figure out anything that was happening. I was getting so mad. And they played the trailer like 6 times during the NBA game I was watching the other day during open night when the guy broke his fucking leg that we were talking
Oh,
about before Gordon Hayward broke his goddamn leg.
good
And
God.
I could not goddamn focus, and I was getting like like angry shakes, and I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to watch this. I am
My
so
world.
aggressively done with superhero movies, and I realize I'm ranting and screaming into the microphone right now. I am so goddamn done that I went and saw the most recent Spider-Man, as I call him, movie with my nephew because he wanted to go watch it, and my brother wanted to go watch it. So I was like, yeah, we'll go watch it. I don't care. I'm not gonna actively go against them, but I was like, yeah, we can go, and it was fine. But as far as like I saw Suicide Squad, I almost said Sinister Squad, which is a ripoff of that movie that he did in this very show right here. But I fucking hated it, and I saw the second Avengers movie. I didn't hate it, but I couldn't follow what the fuck was happening. And the second Thor, like all these Thor movies, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's just shit flying from the sky, and people fight it off, and it works out in the end.
And what's a Ragnarok?
It's a racist term
Is it really?
against people from. No, I have no idea.
I don't know what it is.
I have
Thor
no idea.
Ragnarok. I'm like, okay, Ragnarok. What the? So he's battling a rock with a rag?
I think it's when you fuck someone on their period.
Oh, that's just. I call that fun.
See, it's a rag and a rock.
Yeah, I call that mining for copper.
You rag my rock.
Yeah, dude. As long as it's just a whole lot of copper.
This got gross. Lots of mining for copper in Arizona, though. I'll tell you that.
Fuck yeah. I don't know what that means. I thought copper was a mixture of two different metals.
Like heavy and death.
No, like legitimately, like isn't copper like a mixture of like iron and bronze or some shit? I don't know. I'm
You
an
know,
electrician. I should know
I'm a
this.
scientist. I definitely know this. It's when you fuck a girl on her period. That's what it is. Copper comes from that. We all
Fuck
know
yeah.
that. It's a
That's what
historical
it
fact.
tastes like.
It's true that pennies taste like that. If you, anyway, Die Hard. We who really should get back to anything Die Hard related. We're so far into this.
So
We're
give me a penny for your thoughts about Die Hard.
ugh. Don't talk about that episode. Don't talk about that episode or pennies at this point.
Penny.
So, Die Hard 1. I think do we have anything to say about that? It's
Favorite
very
scene,
quotable.
Die Hard 1. Go.
Yeah, that's a good topic there, Frank. Favorite scene? Do you have a favorite scene picked out? Because I want to think about mine.
Yeah, my favorite scene from Die Hard 1 would be when he gets all the explosives. For some reason, he uses a computer monitor. I don't know why. And he puts the C4, and I don't care how many of those detonators he sticks into the one block of C4. It
It's on.
doesn't matter. You're going to get the same explosion whether one or 15 of them go off,
Yeah,
right? It and fuck it. He's just stabbing him and he's like, fuck it. He's like, yeah, here you go,
I think he put
dickwad.
three in there.
Yeah. And I love how he pushes it. He pushes the fucking
The task
chair.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he watches it just fall, and it's so
just there.
like, and
Oh
boom.
shit! Yeah,
And then it's like, our spotters say you got three with that blast. Like, how the fuck can you see anything? It's a big mirror building tower thing. These spotters,
that always
what?
bothered me too because they have this head count, and he's like, "We have a man inside." He's like, fucking Carl Winslow goes, "We have a man. Don't forget about our man inside." He's like, "Who?" He's like, "We think he's a cop." And then when he says that, and he talks about, he's the reason you're looking at 9 men instead of 12 or something like that. And I was like, okay, so those are quantifiable because John has confirmed them. The one you're mentioning is just conjecture, just pure conjecture.
You're
Our
guessing.
spotters, yeah, that line has always bothered me as well. My favorite scene, I think, is going to be a serious scene. It's not so much a jokey, like, it's my favorite scene, haha, is when he meets Hans for the first time, and Hans does his American voice.
What was his name? Do you remember his name real quick?
Clay,
What?
John. It wasn't Clay, or it wasn't John
No,
Clay.
no,
It was
no.
Bill
Clay,
Clay. Bill
but
Clay.
but he got it because it was said William Clay, and I love how he changed the William to Bill. That was
Yeah,
so cool. I like that. I don't know
I
why.
can't believe I
I
remember that. Wow.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I don't know why I like that detail in the movie so much. I just liked it. You know,
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's my favorite scene because there's so many things going on right there. Because he starts doing like he hears John behind him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And you kind of see him go like, oh God, you're one of them, aren't you? You're one of them." He does this like super American voice. Would that be the Philadelphia accent that he's doing? Is that what he's?
oh my God,
Yeah, that's
you're
isn't
one
that
of
what
the.
he's?
Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me.
Isn't that what he's doing though? Uh,
Why is that a Philadelphia thing? I don't.
I don't know. I just assume that's a Philadelphia accent. Like when you hear the Philadelphia accent, it's always like like when they do it and it's always sunny. It reminds me of that. Anyway,
They film It's Always Sunny in L.A., by the way.
no, I know, but the creator is from Philadelphia, so he's got he knows how to do the accent.
Wait,
Anyway,
who is the creator anyway? Which one is it?
um,
Is it Mac?
yeah, it's Mac. It's Rob McElhenney, and then
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
he's from Philadelphia. That's why they said it there.
Right on.
That scene, and I love scenes where you think they're fooling somebody, but really they are aware what's going on the whole time. You just don't ever see it until the turn because John McClane is sitting there watching, and he gives him the gun, and you're like, "Oh, John." And you realize, oh, he knew the whole time because he gave him an empty gun. Like,
Yeah.
I
Now,
love that shit.
I've been wondering. I've been wanting to ask this question for a while and get an actual answer.
Okay.
When did John McClane figure out that Bill Clay was full of shit and gave him an empty gun? When? What
I
point?
assume it was the second one, the first syllable out of his mouth when it sounds exactly like Hans on the radio. His accent's different, but that voice is so unmistakable. I don't know
It really
anyone that
is.
sounds like him.
No.
There's nobody. So honestly, I think it was that. Like Alan Rickman's voice is very, very distinguishable. I can't imagine he would have went that long. But it's one of those scenes I sit there and watch every single time I watch it, and I try to pinpoint the moment.
I had
I think it's got to be instantaneous.
Maybe it was like a cop instinct or something.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, you're exactly right. I think he's you deal with like I for a while there I worked at a gas station, and even I could point out when people were making shit up. So a cop has just got to be like fucking Sherlock Holmes. You got to be like so good at that. You got to be able to spot that shit. He's looking at shit you're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
And Hans Gruber is not used to, like, he's lying and he's used to like manipulating, but not like acting and shit like that. So he's got to be just, he's not on the level that John is at that point.
Because probably in his head he's like, "What were you doing on the roof, Hans?"
Yeah. He's like, that's up to the man upstairs. Man upstairs. What are you doing upstairs, Han?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, ow. Lay low. I'll call you back. I gotta check on something.
I love it because when he says that, he's like getting into something really deep. He's like, shut up for a while, Al. Like, Jesus Christ. Powell. Yeah, that's my favorite scene probably in that movie. Also, when he does the whole ending is amazing. Just the whole ending when it plays out, to the whole gun, the laughing, and then eventually Hans starts to laugh as well. And then
Did Holly laugh, or was Holly just like, "What the fuck?"
no, Holly was like, "Oh," and she kind of realized what was going on there when he's like, he just starts laughing. He's like, she kind of realizes something's going on there, and he does that little head nod, and he yells Holly, and then yeah, I love that whole scene. It's a
Great ending to a great, like, I almost wish when his, I guess it was a Beretta or a Glock. I don't know anything about guns. But when, the clip was empty, the gun, how you cock it back, it
yeah,
cocks back automatically, right? And he blows it out like,
Happy Trails, Hans.
yeah,
That one.
it's like, I wish he didn't blow at the gun, you know?
Well, he was
But
doing that
whatever.
because he was making the whole movie, this whole movie and the second one there is kind of making fun of the whole cowboy thing. This movie really takes that on. That's why he goes by Roy. That's why he does
Yeah.
all. That's why he even says yippee ki motherfucker to begin with. So everything feels earned, and that's why he blows the gun smoke away. He's actually just kind of playing into the thing that Han said. So this would be the only movie in history it doesn't bother me in, because it's referencing something that came up naturally throughout the story, other than just blowing the smoke away for no reason.
I mean, you're right. It never really bothered me. I was just like, I almost wish he didn't do it, but him doing
Yeah,
it didn't bother me at all. It was earned. It was earned.
yeah,
It
it's
fit.
something. It's earned. If it's earned, I don't care.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, this is gonna sound so weird. I don't know if I should even describe this, but it's. Remember, I was saying those small things are what pays off for me.
Yeah.
He does that whole swings down on the fire rope and goes to the window. He kicks in the window with his bare feet, and then the hose reel falls down and pulls him down. The
Oh
small
God,
stuff
please don't
I
let me
love,
die.
yeah, the small stuff I love is that this just sounds so stupid, but I seriously love this because it's the small details. Is when he lands inside the window, he lands on a ceiling tile. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when he's being pulled out the window by it, he's laying on a ceiling tile. That is such a small attention to detail that I love, because 99% of directors, of writers, would not think of that, because an explosion just happened right there. The ceiling tile would have shook loose.
Yeah.
He lands on that. I'm like, holy shit! They thought of, like, that. I don't know, that little small stuff really adds up in a movie.
And it actually, and it, and instead of like it pulling him, like him just being on the floor, now it gave you another element of, now he's on a ceiling tile that's on the floor and they're slippery, so
Yeah,
it makes it
exactly.
even worse, you know? Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's those that small attention to detail that you're not even thinking about the first time you watch the movie. Guarantee it. And then when I watch it, like, more and more and more, I'm like, that is really fucking genius that they cared enough to do that. And the second one does not have that.
No.
Just doesn't. He lights a pile of gas, a pool of gasoline in the snow, and it just trails up into a plane. And how does he know that he's not in the middle of that line of gasoline? Because he just lights it and he's in the middle, like it's halfway through his torso, and he's just like, it doesn't go behind him, like light him on fire or anything. It just starts where he is because he's there. So why not?
And by the way, jet fuel doesn't burn like that. Uh,
Exactly. Yes.
yeah, it's
It's
kerosene, really. That's all
Yeah,
jet fuel is.
that's what I'm saying. The whole second movie, it's entertaining. It's more of a popcorn movie than the first movie. It's got the sequelitis a little bit. It's
I
just not.
didn't hate it.
No, no, no. It is definitely watchable.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's only a 7.1 compared to Die Hard 3 7.6. I can't figure that shit out.
It's like I'm looking at right now. It's like 7.6. I just want to like, and this is a touchscreen computer, and I just want to put my fist fucking through it.
You want to fist it?
But then I go to Die Hard 2 and 7.1, and I feel better about it. Um, but you know that the one actor, what the hell is his name? He was one of the bad guys, one of the villains. Um,
Which
he's
one?
in um, he's in Shawshank Redemption.
William Sadler. Okay.
Okay. Wow, you dude, yeah, yeah. His name's Stewart. I didn't even know that. His name was Stewart in the movie. No
I
clue.
always. Let me. Yeah, I guess. I'm looking at IMDb right now, and yeah, I always thought it was Stew, but it's Stuart. It doesn't really matter when you say it out loud, like Stewart, you know?
Yeah. But I
Anyway,
can't believe you pulled out William Sadler. Like, I'm so bad with name. Like, dude.
Shawshank's my favorite movie, so
Oh, me
it's.
too, dude. I like.
He was on the Jeff Foxworthy show I used to watch growing up.
Hell yeah, he was. I forgot
Yeah,
all about that. Hell yeah,
yeah,
he was.
yeah. This is how my brain works. This is how I was raised.
But like, it's like, dude, like, do you know how many movies I've seen with Michael Fassbender in it, and I've heard the name Michael Fassbender for years, and I never knew who the fuck he was
Yeah,
until about 8 months ago when we did Prometheus and Pez told I seen his name. I literally figured out who Michael Fassbender was 8 months ago.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Like super famous women. For some reason, actresses, I actively try not to learn their names because they come and go so quickly.
except for Charlize Theron.
Oh, definitely, dude. She's a jerk off material.
Dude, okay, everybody's fallen in love with Charlize Theron, and she has done so many. I've asked other people this, and I always get different answers. Like, she plays so many different roles. She's so versatile. So, what Charlize Theron, um, like movie or like what like how she acted or whatever, like Southern Fried or Hardcore or Bad Bitch or Villain or just Sex. Like, when did you fall in love with Charlize Theron?
Oh man, somewhere around Devil's Advocate.
Rock and roll. Riot on.
I do remember vividly jerking off to that movie because she gets naked in the church.
Fuck yeah, she does. With a
And
lot of like, wasn't she all fucked up?
yeah, yeah, she was fucked up. And yeah, which is very confusing to be jerking off to a movie with Al Pacino in it because I feel like he's shaming your dick.
No,
What
dude.
are you doing? Like, nothing.
Yeah, devil's advocate. I'm a fan man.
Yeah, it's like she's sorry, Al. When you lay off, Al. This ties in the Die Hard. Anyway,
You gotta fuck your sister now.
oh god,
Yeah.
that ending when they like have that redhead girl and he's like, "You gotta fuck her." Like I don't. Oh, and they're like they're statues and they turn into people and they. Oh my god, the whole movie. We could do a whole movie review about that one. I could watch that
Yo,
movie.
we need to do a whole movie review of Devil's Advocate. That's what we need to do next after Die Hard, like a week or so from now. Definitely.
A movie where it predicted the future, kind of, because in two separate. I'm looking up in the air for you, Frank, because I'm trying to think. There's
Hmm.
there's a bunch of different trials in that movie. One of them
Beautiful blue
is a
eyes.
priest, or was he a priest who molested that girl?
Yes.
Do you remember? She ended up lying about it though. And then the next trial they show, she did. She admitted it. And then the next trial was Jeffrey Jones in a murder, I believe. The guy from Beetlejuice, and he was in Beetlejuice, right? Jeffrey Jones.
Um.
He's in every Tim Burton movie. He's in like Shallow, or what the fuck's that movie called? The Pumpkinhead dude, Sleepy Hollow. He's in every Tim Burton movie.
Oh, walking.
No, it's Jeffrey Jones. He had these two scenes in this movie. If you combine them, because Jeffrey Jones was accused of sexually assaulting a bunch of children. So it was very weird for me because I'm like, oh, it's just like a little fold in this movie, like the last page of a Mad magazine. If we just folded these two scenes together, it would be perfectly lined up. It just would have been so fitting.
See, I never paid much attention to the court scene in the beginning or the end.
There's like three of them. I just watched it a couple years ago, having not watched it for like a decade, and I was like, oh, there's so many court scenes in this movie I don't remember. There's so many. And then they
And
have the voodoo, the guy who cut the head off the goat, a trial for him too. And I was like, God damn, there's so many trials.
what accent was Keanu Reeves going for?
He was going for
He failed, by the way.
Tennessee, was he was from?
I don't know.
Texas.
I mean,
I'm just country. He's almost doing Foghorn Leghorn. Like, I'm from the country. I do say yes. It's like, what are you doing? Christ, dude, you're terrible.
vanity, my favorite sin.
Yeah. Let me say this on the record. I love Keanu Reeves. I don't.
So do
He seems like the greatest guy. Like, I've heard so many interviews with him. He is such a lovable guy, and kudos to him. He's been through a lot. Like, genuinely been through a lot. Yeah, definitely. If you ever look into his what's happened to him recently.
I will later. Yeah.
He seems like such a sweetheart, and he's like so interested in people and like the things they do, and he's like really hard worker. Like he all those stunts in John Wick he did on his own. He trained him like he gets himself trained for all this shit.
Never
And
seen
then
it.
you see him try to do anything where it's not like anything with dramatic flair to it, and you're like, I just feel like you should stay on your course because your course is fucking awesome. Like the Matrix, you in the Matrix is really amazing.
Well, the first one.
Yeah, but I don't blame him for the second or third one at all. It's the writing and the directing that are
I liked the second one. I thought the second one was cool.
watchable. But anyway, I don't blame him for those at all. I blame the directors. They were having a change of heart and sexual organs at the time.
Was that one big orgy during the dance scene after Morpheus did that awful speech?
When they're all in like fucking weird see-through clothing. That wasn't too, yeah.
And they're all just grinding and fucking. Was that
The last 45 minutes is a goddamn one scene on a freeway.
That was badass. Sorry.
That was badass. They built a like 5-mile freeway just for that.
I know.
Anyway,
I watched
shit,
that.
we're so far away removed from Die Hard.
Way off topic radio, everybody.
Losing my voice here.
Okay, so you were on Die Hard talking about your favorite. My next question was, what was your favorite fight with John McClane and what bad guy?
In all of them?
Out of all of them, what was your favorite?
Favorite fight. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. There's so many good ones. The first one that comes to mind is when he shoots the guy on the freight train or freight boat at the end, and he's like, "Give me just hot," and he yells something. And he's like, shoots him. And he's like, "What was that?" And then the other guy comes out and he hits him. And he's like, "He said don't shoot." And then he beats the guy with John McClane's ended up beating the guy with a chain.
Okay, so you're talking about 3. Okay, all right, right.
Yeah, 3 on the boat.
He said, "Don't shoot."
Yeah, that I love. It's just this because he gets like, remember he throws him against those barrels that are full of nothing for some reason. They all full of,
you want to arrest me, policeman?
yeah. Question: they're on a freight boat, which is like moving all over. Why do they have these empty barrels stacked on top of each other? All they're going to do is fall at that point. They're not even held in restrained in any way. Like, they're just going to fall over. That's it. So just go ahead and single pile. And then, anyway.
They put them there so when the bomb explodes in the middle of them, they become shrapnel and they go through the boat.
No, but these are the empty ones, though, is what I'm saying. These are empty. The bad guy throws John into them, and they fall over. And I'm like, oh, it's like in every 70s and 80s cheap TV show when they were doing a car chase, and then so they go in an alleyway, and there's like this 85 boxes, and they're all empty, just so they had something to crash into, so it looked cool for TV. They do the slow motion, like thing where they side swipe them, and you're like, those are just empty boxes. Why are they there? Anyway, it reminded me of that. It's just there for damage.
Or, 2 guys carrying a 12 by 12 piece of, mirror for no reason at all.
Yeah.
I mean, because that happens a lot.
Yeah. Um, this scene though with the chain guy, I feel like that was they kind of mirror a lot of things from the first movie in the third one because, like I say, it's the same director.
Right.
It was very reminiscent of the scene he gets in with the blonde dude, and he fights him with a chain, and he gets a chain around his neck, and he jumps down, and he
And
makes
I
chain,
love how
and then
when
for
he's
some
fighting
goddamn
him,
reason he's alive later.
I know how the fuck does he? I don't get it.
He's so goddamn dead. But that
I
isn't
know.
doesn't that the fight scene itself doesn't it feel very reminiscent of that fight scene though in the first one?
Yeah, because when John McClane finally starts getting the better of him, as he's fucking him up, he's like he's cursing at him.
Yeah, he's
I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna eat
motherfucker.
you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
cut your cock off and boil it, motherfucker. Hey, you should have heard when you killed your brother. He screamed like a cunt. You know what I mean? Like, I love how McClane just goes into this like
yeah, rates him.
crazy mode.
Yeah, and it feels like the exact same scene for me, but they're so different that I don't feel like it's ripping it off. I feel like it's kind of like Tarantino wishes he could do. Doing an homage to the first one. It's not just ripping it off.
Well, it's the same character, so obviously he's gonna act the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It
it was
just
perfect.
I love it. I love that sort of stuff where that's why I love the Hot Fuzz Shaun of the Dead thing because they both the first half of the movies are one thing and the second half is just paying off the first half and referencing it. It's the same thing with one Die Hard 1 and 3. It's just kind of even so much that the villain is his brother. Like it's just very clearly just kind of mirroring it.
Yeah, that thing in L.A.
And yeah, and the thing of what he's doing, like this ruse where it looks like he's gonna bomb a school. It looks like he's trying to fuck over John McClane, but really he's stealing gold from the Federal Reserve, just like Hanzo's doing, where he's trying to look like he's trying to free his brothers in arms, but really he's just ripping off a bunch of bonds.
And not for nothing, that was a lot of pancake syrup. How many how many bottles of pancake syrup did they squeeze into that fucking tube? I mean, it had to be like 400.
Yeah,
That had to take all
what's
day.
funny? Um,
That was an
that
expensive fake
actor,
bomb.
yeah. Um, it took me a while to realize. It wasn't until recently, but the guy that plays Charlie in Die Hard 3, he is in this TV show that I watched with Ellie called Jesse, where he played the butler, and I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. I couldn't figure out why, and I just realized the other day it's fucking Charlie from from. I'm like, God, that's why he's so good in that show, even though the show's goddamn terrible. But he's funny in it, and I was like, ah, it's so weird. It's weird to see people in two different lights. Where you usually it's the other way, where they're in a shitty kids show, and then all of a sudden they blow up or something. But this is the opposite. It's just kind of sad.
Kevin Chamberlain.
Yeah, Kevin Chamberlain. That's something. I love
Very
the scene
bald.
though they they're fucking with Simon on the phone there, and but then they bring in Charlie comes in and he has the Q-tip and he throws it down and then the chair blows up and she's like, "I swear to God, Charlie, I was shut the champion ass." That lady. And I seriously got this movie down, and then and he's like,
Very cool stuff.
very cool stuff. And I have such a vivid memory of watching that with my dad. It's one of my very, very few memories of like him really being into something. He's kind of just a closed off guy, but he would like laugh every single time we watched this at that point. He just loved Charlie's character. He just would start busting up because it really is just like I don't know. It's funny as hell when he says that. And
I
then
mean, I told you once about my dad's movie habits right every weekend. You were like, goddamn Whiplash. I don't know if you remember or not.
Whiplash.
It was your first time ever on our show with and Pez was on, and I told you my dad's weekly movie habits, and he would watch like 3 movies religiously every weekend. And when he wasn't watching movies and he was doing stuff around the house, Gloria Estefan was blasting through the house.
Was your dad a middle-aged lesbian?
No, he cooked meth in the back of a Harley junkyard for the Pagan and Warlocks. But he didn't do it as the meth. He didn't do
I,
it.
I
He,
love that season of Sons of Anarchy.
no, yeah, really. Tell me about it. But uh, you know, thankfully, it was at the biggest Harley junkyard on the East Coast because when I hit the 100-pound husky on my $22,000 Harley. Um, supposed to have full coverage when you're paying for it.
Yeah.
And I changed insurance companies, and that was back when Geico wouldn't insure you the day you called. They would insure you the day after. And I didn't know that. And I just happened to crash the day of the transfer. So I crashed no insurance and shit. So, but thankfully, since my dad cooked so much meth behind this place, that $5,000 worth of damage was done for free by the owner.
All of that to the dog vet bills.
He was
You're
dead. There was no
oh,
vet bills. Yeah, brain came right out of his mouth, or her mouth, actually.
I think I had to specify which gender.
Well,
It came out of her vag. You know what I mean?
brain right out of her cunt. But
Yo,
anyway, I mean,
come
so,
magoo.
but my dad was not a meth head. He never did it, but he used all the money to support his gigantic coke habit. Yeah.
Fun story. Fun story.
Oh, well, fast forward, but then his lush of a wife, he wouldn't let her in because she kept shitting on him every night in bed because she was so drunk. So she called the cops and told the cops where his, you know, giant-sized pile of Al Pacino coke was. And yeah, my dad was going to jail, so instead he just killed himself. So fun story.
You really tied a bow on that,
Hey, yo, beginning, middle, end. That's the
very, very,
fastest story I ever told.
yeah.
I didn't know it was possible.
Oh, Frank, what's your favorite scene from Die Hard 2?
Right on. Talk about Whiplash. My favorite scene from Die Hard 2, literally after he lit the non-flammable kerosene on fire, that the fire went up into the plane and
Yeah,
blew up. He's laying there laughing. Holly,
yeah.
there's your lights.
Here's your landing lights. Yeah,
But let's not get off the runway, John, since you got all
yeah.
these
They
planes
land
landing.
6.5 feet over him, like the movie Pushing Tin with Billy Bob and John Cusack, where it makes him fly in the air. Do you remember that movie? Uh, it's a
No.
fucking movie. They play this game where they stand like to feel alive. They go stand right below where a plane lands because they work in an airport, and it lands, and the pressure from the kind of the undercurrent makes them fly up in the air because it's so much air pressure changing at once, where they just fly up in the air and they land.
So
Such
it's
a weird movie.
almost like Wayne's World, but a little bit more hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore Wayne's World. Jackass meets Wayne's World.
I don't know.
So that's your favorite scene?
I just love how he's laughing and screaming, and my other favorite scene is how I don't know how he doesn't get shot when he does this, but remember how they were all blanks, right?
Yeah, yeah. He shoots Dennis
No,
France,
there's a bunch of cops. There's like 10
and nobody pulls
cops.
their gun.
Yeah, and he's like, like, and nobody pulls out a gun and fires back. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I love
okay.
that. They're all scared, I guess, but he got so lucky he didn't get shot right there.
That's what I'm saying. I love that scene. Like, bullshit. He would have got killed right
Yeah.
away. They would have
My,
figured it out later, but oops,
my favorite scene is kind of a weird one. It's just the first one that comes to mind that I really focus on is when he kills that first guy and the baggage claim or the baggage, wherever the hell that's called, where it goes through.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
kills that guy. He brings him out. He calls Al. It's like, hey, Al, can you got some questions here? And then he comes out and he fingerprints the guy, and he's like, the guys from the lab need this. So, yeah, they're making us do it right now. Comes back in, and he starts doing a fax. And then they have like a 5-minute scene where he just talks to the airport lady about doing faxes, how their faxes work, how the phone works. And then and after all this, he gets a fax over, and he's like, it's a color copy. Oh, it's crazy that it works that way. He's like, it's the 90s now. It's crazy that it works this way. Technology, what can you do? And then she flirts with him. She's like, what are you doing after this? He's like, married, sorry. Flicks his ring up. I'm like, what? Come on. Like,
John,
it's just feeding his ego at this point.
it's like, dude, you gotta get some strange every once in a while. What are you doing?
It's like, I'm married, but she doesn't land for
And aren't they divorced anyway?
In this movie, they're together again, and that's why I had the problem with it because why is he in New York still and she's still in L.A.?
But they're in D.C.
I get that he would drive down for her family to
That's a
to
long drive, dude. That ain't just a nice summer cruise. That's
yeah.
like a
He
five
flew.
hour drive.
He did drive. He drove their car. Okay, how the fuck did he
Why
get?
the
He
fuck would
must
he?
have flew in and then taken their car from their house to the airport again to pick up Holly.
Why D.C. to go to New York?
They're not going to New York. I think they're going to DC to visit her parents, and that's it.
Okay, good enough.
It just is. It's laid out very, very casually and very like deliberately, but still made no sense.
There is no reason why they couldn't do this at LaGuardia or
Yes,
I,
JK,
I
fucking
Idlewild.
yeah, literally anything. It doesn't make any sense for them to be there. It really just doesn't.
Even Newark would have worked. It's across the
Okay,
river.
let's So that's we did our favorite scenes for two. What's your favorite scene in three? Total favorite scene,
Oh my God.
other than when and
I know what you're gonna say,
that's the
and
one scene where they jump off the bridge, or they're going to jump off the bridge. They decide to take the tow line down and cross it, which is fucking stupid.
it would
And
never
then
work.
they land after falling like 65 feet onto a bunch of metal, and they're just like, "I'm glad you taught me how to jump in." And I was like, "You'd be dead right now.
I know, and
You're
and
dead."
the movie was so good up to this point. I accepted it and did not give a fuck.
Yes, yes,
That's how good
absolutely.
this movie was.
But I'm willing to accept that it's stupid, but still, I overlook it. Anyway, what's your
But
favorite?
they had to happen so they could pull, the arms and the legs shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, so they could have that guy go with the machine gun when he got shot in. Love it. Anyway, you have a favorite scene in mind?
I mean, of course, the all-time favorite scene of this movie is the very
When he gets,
beginning when Samuel L. Jackson first meets them, and I'm not going to say it
Vince
because
here hates niggas. Now, what we gonna do about that? That
from
I'll say.
Bellevue. um,
I think now all his dogs are barking.
yeah, it's kind of funny how how John goes into being crazy. Um, I'm the god of my own
I am the voice of my own god.
god. Yeah,
I'm having a bad day. I'm having a really bad day, and I got a really bad. And then they throw the knife.
yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I
I
mean,
almost
that's
kept.
got to be everybody's favorite scene, right? Because it's just like it made it like that scene right there was like your first indication of like, all right, this is different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not fucking around.
No,
It's not just a dumb action movie. It's I don't want to
my
say
favorite scene.
error. I want to say it's realistic. It's
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
they
It's
did. He showed up with a sign that says literally it says "I hate niggers" on it. He shows up. He doesn't just get like murdered. He doesn't. They kind of fuck with him and they throw a basketball off his head and they laugh. That's what would happen. Like they would fuck with him. They're not just gonna murder him.
no.
It's not just like gratuitous.
Eventually, they
Like
will.
I mean, who knows what would have happened eventually? But he shows up with that sign that's kind of on him at that point. Uh, the My point is though they didn't just do the violence like falling down like the Michael Douglas movie.
Mhm.
They It's such a weird because everything in the '90s felt like it was like such a fucking delicate little flower of a movie. Like everything, like if it wasn't Tarantino, it was just like this. Like other movies in '95, like you look at like these comedies and you're like, oh, it's so delicate, like they're so sensitive.
They like
Those-
half baked.
yeah, like shit like that, where it's just and there was laughter, but just like so brutal. It's like he made him show up with that sign on it. It's so weird.
It's like he's Simon's a racist motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I think he was just fucking with them. I don't know some. Well, he's German, so I assume he's racist. But um,
Hey,
I assume that was
I'm half German.
com-
That doesn't mean anything,
yeah, you're racist. Anyway,
And Hitler was Austrian, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
So
But then where'd he go?
Germany.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Well, World
Anyway,
War One kind of really crippled the country. So
That's like me being in Toronto, moving here when I was little, and being like, I'm technically Canadian. No, no. Anyway, the point is, my favorite scene in 3 is what you were saying there with the opening scene is right on, because that does open the movie with like a holy shit. Like
like
they're starting off with this.
they're
Holy
going hardcore. They're
yeah,
not
it's just
pulling
a
any
series of
punches
cat
here.
and mouse with this. Sorry, I didn't mean what were you saying?
No, no, no. Go ahead.
They're starting off this whole cat and mouse. That's how I would define this movie, cat and mouse.
Sure.
It's really just Simon fucking with him. His name is Simon, and he's playing Simon Says with him. It's not. It's a game. It literally, it's saying it in the name that it's a game. He
You
even
got a
just
problem with Ebony?
yeah. And he says he does a bomb thing, and he's like, I never said Simon Says. He does that little joke, and he laughs. But when he does my favorite Samuel Jackson line is when he's like, he meets him in the cab, and he's got the cut on his arm. And Samuel Jackson's in the back of the cab. He's like, I'm sorry about that, Zeus, or Jesus. Like, how you doing back there, Jesus? And he's like, why the fuck you keep calling me Jesus, man? Do I like Puerto Rican to you? He's like, the guy back there kept calling you Jesus. He's like, he wasn't saying Jesus, he was saying, hey, Zeus. He's like, Zeus? He's like, yeah, father of Apollo, Mount Olympus, don't fuck with me, you'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus, you got a problem with that? Like, no, I got a problem with that, Zeus. I got the whole movie memorized. Anyway, I love that shit. It drew me into the movie so quickly. So I was like, this guy's like, their chemistry is undeniable.
Dude, it was like boom.
It's off the fucking charts.
Have they ever done anything else together? Ever?
Yeah, they did Unbreakable, and then they did another movie.
That
What was
shitty
that?
fucking movie.
Shitty movie. That movie's awesome.
I hated that movie. And I like M. Night Shyamalan and on and on.
Yeah,
Like, everybody hates The Village. I loved it.
I hated that movie.
See what I mean? Everybody
Yeah.
hates it. Everybody hates it. I loved it. Because I loved it because I hated it.
Okay.
I know that doesn't make sense, but a movie that forces an emotional reaction from you, it's still good, even though
I've seen so many snuff films that have just like really made me angry. Then I'm like, so good because I hated it.
Faces of Death was fake,
So good.
except for that shotgun blast to the jaw. That was fucked up. I'll never forget that.
Anyway,
Moving on. No, my absolute favorite scene is when John McClane goes into the Federal Reserve for the first time, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
he's
just
all
like
fucked
up.
up. He's like, yeah, laundry day.
Yeah. And
I
I
love
love
that.
it's kind of cloudy out there. Looks like it might be raining dogs and cats. He says it, and that's the scene, and that's what I was saying. It's mirroring the first movie. This is the scene where he meets Hans. He's catching all these little clues right here. The guy says it backward. He gets in there and he says, he's like, Agent Otto, was it? Something, just kind of like bunch of little weird clues.
It was like Inspector Otto, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I always say I'm going to take the stairs because I need the exercise, but I always wind up taking the lift.
Taking the lift, yeah,
Like,
exactly. And he's just like,
for years, I did not know what that meant.
oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
I was young. I don't know.
Oh,
You know.
yeah, I grew up, in Michigan, so we got a lot of British television there because Canadians play a lot of British stuff, so I just
Really?
always heard that. Yeah, the British and Canada are very similar with the comedy. So I would hear that shit all the time. So I knew what it meant, so I was like, when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh, he's going to catch on. And that shot he does where when he shoots Otto in the head,
Loved it.
the blood sprays on him. It is so fucking brutal without being gratuitous. You don't see his head explode.
It was
just blood spray John's face. It is so goddamn amazing to me.
It was so realistic too. It's exactly what would happen. It wasn't like too much. It wasn't too little. It was perfect. I don't need to see his head explode.
Yes, exactly. This is what I differentiate between gratuitous violence and realistic violence. Like, it's realistic, but it's also it is gratuitous by itself just because of the blood spray. I get that.
Yeah.
But Tarantino would show his fucking head explode. This just shows you hear the gunshot and you see the blood spray. That is so much more effective to me. It's like in Fight Club where he beats up Angel Face. You don't see the punches toward the end. They had an art. They got the scene was really held up by the people that were rating it. The rating, whatever the hell they're called, I forget off the top of my head. Um,
Assholes.
MPAA, but they got held up more because they were the shot of just the crowd reacting was worse.
They didn't know how to rate the fucking movie.
Yeah, the beating wasn't as bad as the crowd reacting. That's how fucked up things can be when you really, and a good editor can make that shit way more effective. It is so weird. You don't even think about it. It's kind of like the scene in Psycho where she gets killed in the shower, and everyone's like, "Oh, you see so many stab." You don't see one stab.
No,
There's
nothing.
single stab in that scene. You just think there is because you're a good editor can make that shit like so goddamn visceral, and your imagination is worse than reality for some things, and that's
And it's in black and white too,
I'm
so
not going to wait. Yeah, Psycho with Die Hard 3, but I mean
two
personally, I
great
like
movies.
first, but or more, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
it's just like I like to see. I would rather be focused on the character's face during that shot than the guy's head who's exploding. That's way more effective to me.
Yeah, like how John McClane reacted to everything. I mean, because he was outnumbered. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He had to act fast, and it was just really. And what tipped him off is, his buddy. That's who Otto took the
yeah,
badge from, and they play their numbers for lottery.
yeah,
And
exactly.
when he's seen the number, it's like, hey, boys, got him right here, bang, bang, bang. Remember? So it was just like it was great, dude. Like I love that scene. Love that scene.
Yeah. You know what I was looking at when I was watching one the other day?
What's
Is
that?
I was looking at the cop that was sitting next to him with the guy from or not Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, the principal.
Yeah.
He's on his little line there, and I look at this cop that's between them. If you look carefully, I'm like, holy shit, that's the cop from number 3. Exact same cop.
Is it
It's him.
really?
It's the guy that plays his badge number that gets killed. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
same cop. And then I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I recognized him. And I went and looked, and he died the next year after Die Hard 3. I'm like, oh,
No
that's depressing.
shit.
Yeah, he died in '96. I'm like, god damn, the guy looked fairly young in this movie. He doesn't look old. He looks like he's like 40. I'm like, that's fucking sad.
Well, you never know. I mean, my father was 52, so.
He could have been. Still, either way, I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Because I liked him in this movie. He has a very small role, but I don't know, he seems likable.
Well, he
It's
apparently he was pretty close to John, so.
yeah. Well, he came from him. He went with him from L.A. to New York. He's got to be pretty close.
I'm trying to find his name on. There is a lot of actors in 3, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
The cast, I mean, it's just like, oh wow, there's a lot of them. But that's a shame. Anyway,
His name is
but
Ricky Walsh in the movie, so he's Anthony Peck. He died in July 30th, 1996.
oh,
So
Ricky
he's
Walsh.
49.
Well, that's a shame.
So he's 48 when it came out.
Hunt for October.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at these movies he's in. He's in Die Hard with a Vengeance, number 1. Die Hard. This is his known for Die Hard, Run for October, and then In the Line of Fire. Clint Eastwood, great movie. And then his last movie was Carnosaur 3: Primal Species, which sounds like a direct-to-DVD movie or direct-to-VHS in that time.
Had to be, because
God.
I don't remember seeing that preview in the movie theater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Quantum Leap.
I love that show. I have it on.
Oh my! I forgot that show even exists. Last Action Hero. Rock on.
Huh, yeah. Saw that movie in the theater with my sister while she's getting fingered behind me.
What?
I went to that theater. I went to 2 movies with my sister when I was growing up in the same year. Free Willy, uh, which is very ironic because she's a big fat girl getting fingered in the back, getting all wet. And then number
Wow.
2 was Last Action Hero, and I saw both those movies. I was sitting in the theater. She was a couple rows behind me, getting fingered by her boyfriend, and I'm just like, I'm 9 years old,
That's creepy.
sitting here watching. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah.
Was she at least being quiet?
She was quiet, but she wasn't being discreet.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I was 9 and it was going on. That's how bad it was.
I mean,
Anyway,
I
let's
was
not look-
17 in a movie theater. It was Rush Hour 2 with Missy, and we were by ourselves in there. So, yeah. I mean,
You're my sister?
n-
What were you
yeah.
doing?
Well, no. I was, railing my wife.
Sex in the theater doesn't sound appetizing, I guess.
We were by ourselves and we were
Hey,
17.
oral in the theater, definitely. I'm down with that.
Well,
Sex,
that's how
though,
it
too
started.
much. Okay, so you got a little into it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
we had plenty of
I mean,
time, but
I'm
it was rush
asexual.
hour too. The movie sucked and it was kind of
You have
long.
to. I mean, did you see the first one? I guess is a good question.
No. Well, not at that point.
You had
Eventually I did.
no idea what was going on then. You can't follow that plot line without seeing the first one.
Plus, Chris Tucker is a bit much sometimes. I know when I not see what I think I'm seeing, what I thought I saw I'm seeing. Or whatever the fuck he
I
said.
thought I saw him saying.
I don't know.
Uh,
I was balls deep at that point. I don't remember exactly the fucking quote.
so Frank,
Yes.
live free
Or
or
Die Harder. Or Die
no?
Hard. Okay,
It's
that's number
Die Hard
four.
2, Die Harder, and this one's Live Free or Die Hard. I guess we'll discuss these real quick because we're getting pretty long here. We're getting to an hour and a half here.
Well, I
Let's
mean, we're talking about five movies too, and I mean, three we could talk for 3 hours about. One we could do
yes,
3 hours
let's
on.
quickly discuss 4 and 5 and get the fuck out of here.
Well, four I watched because Timothy Olyphant was in it, and that other kid I can't ever remember his name, the computer guy. He had a
Just
computer. Him, yeah. He was good in it. I thought it was a decent movie. I didn't like the dumb jet scene with the truck and the
yes,
spiral fucking highway ramp.
the that scene and then the one where he crashes the car into the air or the to the helicopter. Those two scenes, I think if they cut them, the movie would have been
Much
way
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yes. Though I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you want to finish? You were
I said all I need to say
some
about
you
that
know
movie.
you don't remember a whole lot.
No, I seen it twice, maybe about two times.
Okay, I
Yeah.
saw this in the theater. Okay, so I was working in a factory um, after high school. This was a little bit after I when this movie came out, so it was 5 years after. The point is, after work, where I had a shitty job and it was a fucking stupid temp job at a factory. So I was like, fucking, I've been waiting years, fucking 12 years for a Die Hard. Let's go goddamn see this. I bought everyone that I was working with tickets. We're going to fucking see this movie right now. I'm not kidding. When I told you Die Hard was my trilogy, I'm not kidding. I was like, we're going to goddamn see this movie. We all went,
How many
handful of,
people?
I, I, I don't know, a handful,
Okay.
5 or 6, I'm
I
not
mean,
saying,
at a movie theater, that's a couple $100 right there.
no, yeah, it was Michigan, so it was like $6 a ticket. So it
Okay.
was $50 I probably spent. It wasn't too bad. I didn't care about that at all. I didn't care at all. Anyway, went there and we're sitting there, and about 20 minutes into the movie, I was like, "This isn't terrible, but what the fuck?" And I looked down. I'm like, PG-13. Oh no! Oh no! What did they do to John? I was like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" And I showed I was dating the girl at the time, and I was like, "Look at this." She's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "This is PG." Like, how did I felt like the opposite of like a Mormon kid who walked into a R-rated movie. I was like, how did they not tell me? Like, they didn't tell me this is PG-13. Oh, what the hell? And then the whole movie he's being censored. It's so goddamn obvious. He'd be like, "Get out of here, mother!" And then like a gunshot would go off, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I mean,
And,
literally, yippee ki mother.
yeah, he shoots himself through the shoulder to kill Timothy Olyphant, and then they censor it out with the gunshot. And I'm like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
He's getting so mad. They have Cliff Curtis in this movie who plays Travis in Fear the Walking Dead. Another tie over here for LIW because I do the movie or the show review for that.
Right on.
Even though he's goddamn dead in that show now. Spoiler alert.
Isn't the other shitty fucking parent show starting?
Are you
Whatever.
okay? Well, The Walking Dead. Are you saying? Or
Yeah.
there's a show called like Parenthood?
No, yeah,
Yes, it starts with
The Walking Dead because
starts,
I call that the parent show to Fear of the Walking Dead because it spawned it, right?
even though I
So,
think The Walking Dead is far superior.
well, I mean, fuck, I mean, everything is far superior. than that shitty fucking show. I'm so happy I stopped watching that piece of shit. Oh,
Stay tuned for
I have more fun catching up with it listening to your show because you're so mad all the time, and it's exactly how I feel about it, so I can relate the entire time. And I'm saying to myself, thank God I didn't watch it.
Yeah. I find myself doing the Fear the Walking Dead movie review, or I keep saying movie review, Fear the Walking Dead review, being like, I love this, but I didn't know why they did this, but it worked, so I didn't complain at the end. And I found myself like rationalizing a lot because I'm like, I like this show. But then I listen back to a Walking Dead review, and I'm like, oh, I'm so mad. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck did they? And I liked the characters. I just don't get why they're doing the things they're doing. And it's more the pacing for The Walking Dead I have a problem with than anything else.
Oh my God. What pacing? There is no pacing.
Exactly.
It's
That's what I'm
it's
saying. You're The
that
Walking Dead is so excellently paced and perfect. You know what they're doing. You know what their goal is. And honestly, there isn't a goal. That's kind of what makes it fun. They don't know what they're doing, and they're willing to admit it. The Walking Dead is just like, we know what we're doing. I'm like, no, you don't. You're
why is it team what are they doing now? Team Negan versus Team
Rick.
Cocksucker Rick? Yeah. Team what are you talking? Team what? 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 Why? What?
Yeah, it's I don't want to get into it. We'll discuss it later here on another show.
I was
We
on
could,
Twitter and I seen it. I seen a promo picture.
yeah,
You
so
know,
did I.
Negan's got
We got
his
that. His
his
Lucille.
yeah his cunt bat, and I don't know what Rick's holding.
He's holding a big floppy dildo. That is the show.
Yeah, yeah.
A 16-foot long dildo, 1 foot for every episode that they're just going to drag into you.
No, one foot
Anyway,
for every shitty writer they have.
I think I might have just perfectly described The Walking Dead right there on accident, like between you were speaking. I think I need to stop and focus on what I just said. I'm going to describe the show that way. A 16-foot dildo, 1 foot for every episode that they shove inside you. It is going to be how I describe the show from now on. Oh my god. Anyway,
God.
the point is, let's quickly finish here. Live Free, Die Hard. I like this movie. It has a sense of humor about it. It's a little over the top with how quickly the daughter stuff starts out, but I got over it because you don't see her for a while. There's like a quick, fast ninja who fights over pipes and stuff toward the end, and he picks it into a fucking little turbine there, and he gets chopped up very quickly. I like the sense of humor in it. It sticks with the sense of humor of the other movies. It flows well. It has some stupid action scenes, but overall, I don't hate this movie. I know some friends of mine that hate this one, and they like 5. I don't respect them as people anymore for having that opinion. They are completely wrong, and that I think they burn in hell for an eternity and a half.
Oh
I
wow.
The only thing I don't like in this movie is that they brought in Kevin Smith for no goddamn reason. He kind of throws me out of it.
Well, look at the size of them. You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
but they make fun of him for being fat, but and Kevin Smith went to work on later with on Cop Out with Bruce Willis, and they didn't get along at all because Bruce Willis is a severe douchebag in real life.
apparently
Yeah, I mean Kevin Smith is kind of a douchebag too, but he's lovable at the same time.
he tries.
Bruce Willis is just a douchebag because he's been famous for 40 years now.
And the funny
So
thing is, they're from the same fucking town.
yeah,
I mean, Bruce is
Jersey,
a North Jersey guy, and so is Kevin Smith. I mean,
by way of Germany.
what's
Yeah,
that?
by way of Germany. I think he's a military brat, born in Germany. I'm pretty sure if you look into that, he was born there. Click on him.
Oh,
Click
I
on
didn't.
him. I dare you. I goddamn dare you.
Oh well. Ooh. Musician? What?
Bruce Willis.
Actor and musician Bruce Willis? What the fuck does he play?
He plays the Bruce Willis.
Does he sing?
Does it say he's born in Germany though?
Yeah, West Germany.
Yeah, I think he's in the military, like a military dad, so he's born on a base. But so he's American.
1955.
Yeah. He was born a
Looks
long
like he's
goddamn time
getting
ago.
old.
Yeah, he's got one more John McClane in him, and
I hope not.
I hope he does, just because it'll be like Star Wars where they have three really good ones and then three terrible ones, and then they can
Well,
after that.
I would say two really good ones, and then Return of the Jedi was watchable.
Well,
Wasn't
that's what it's
great.
exactly how Die Hard is. First and third are amazing. Second one's watchable, like good, but
You're saying that The Empire Strikes Back is watchable, but one and three's better?
no, I'm saying one and two are really goddamn good, and number
Oh,
three
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is like Die Hard 2, where it's like that was pretty good, but not amazing like one and three or one and two, excuse me. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a it's a competent. It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with a Back to the Future one, two, and three. One and two are really goddamn good movies. Three's watchable.
Three's a piece of
Indiana,
shit.
Indiana Jones one and three are amazing. Two is watchable.
They had to do two to get to three, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So most trilogies have that. Anyway, number four, flawed but fun overall. If you can get the director's cut, I'd recommend that because they don't censor anything out, and it's very obvious in the non-director's cut. In the theatrical cut, when they cut out swearing, very obvious. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, a Die Hard should never be anything but R. Sorry.
Stupid mistake on their part. I think they realized that immediately. That's why Die Hard 5 is rated R again. And speaking of Die Hard 5, let's get there and end this shit.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I have no idea what the plot was, who was in it, who was the bad guy, nothing.
Okay, so number four, he visits his daughter, um, and then he hangs out with his daughter for a little bit. Right? That's it. He reconnects with her. It's a lovey-dovey. She kind of falls in love with Justin Long. You don't know what's going to happen. Doesn't matter. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was his daughter, and that's it.
What was her name? I'm sorry.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so five. Five starts off with uh, Jay Courtney shooting a guy in the fucking head. Okay. I don't know who
Okay.
he is yet. It doesn't matter. He gets arrested. Fine. He shoots him in a nightclub. And then it cuts to a scene with John McClane talking to some black dude who's his partner, I guess. We don't ever see him before or after this. And he's just like, so I got this file on your son. Turns out he's in some deep shit. And John looks through the file and he's at a firing range and he's just like, oh, yeah, this is my son. Oh, God. What happened to him? And he's looking through his file and he's like, oh, he's in prison in Russia. He's like, is he going to get life sentence? He's like, no, worse. So it sounds like they're going to execute him or some shit. Who knows? Anyway, he's like, I guess I got to go get him. That's basically what it equates to. And then he flies to fucking Russia. And the whole movie's
Russia.
in Russia. The whole goddamn movie's in Russia. And that's why you
Wow.
look at some posters for the movie. It says Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia. I'm not kidding.
No, he didn't.
I'm not kidding. It's the stupidest goddamn ploy I've seen. Anyway, this is why this movie's so goddamn bad. He goes to Russia. I'll quickly go through this and describe it to you so you don't have to watch it. He goes to Russia, finds his son who just committed a murder. His son escapes with this guy who's kind of works for this chemical team. They don't know what he's doing. He seems like a good guy. His son releases him. Ends up being that his son works in the CIA or some shit like that. He's working for the government. He gets away with his son. They escape a bunch of bad guys. They shoot a bunch of bad guys. The guy that they escape from prison with, he gets kidnapped by his daughter. They leave. The whole movie's them chasing him down, getting shot at, really reconnecting with his son. You know, getting to know his son. I called him baby John McClane the whole movie. At the end, they find out the bad guy was really the bad guy, or the guy that they rescued from prison was really the bad guy the whole time. Surprise, surprise, Die Hard. And then they go, but the whole ending is in Chernobyl, where the radiation.
Yeah, like a
And
nuclear.
get
Yeah.
over that by walking around going tss, 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 with like spray bottle guns, and going, this neutralizes the this neutralizes the chemicals in the air. And
Wait
you
a
see, like,
minute.
Geiger
Why?
down, and they're like, yeah, it really cleaned the air. Now we can take off our masks and walk around here just fine.
Bullshit.
Right. So, and this is following a bunch of tank chases and like explosions in Russian freeways where the cops kind of show up and don't do anything. And they end up in Chernobyl. The radiation gets magically cured by a bunch of fucking super soakers. And then I'm not even kidding. That's what it looked like. They walk around.
I
They
love
find
my
out
Super Soaker.
the guy was really a bad guy, and then they kill him. And then the daughter chases after him in a goddamn helicopter. They shoot the helicopter down, and then she dies. It's just like the end of 3, only terrible. And then they fall through. It's a really cool shot, though. Only a cool shot in the whole movie where they jump off a building while the helicopter's exploding. So you see the helicopter and them falling at the same time, and it looks like it's not moving at all. Then you realize the background starts to move, like the levels of the building, and they look like they're standing still. Though it's awesome shot. I'm not even kidding. And I'm like, oh shit, they are falling, but it is they're fixated, but everything else is moving. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So they're still in the frame, and then they land in a pool, and the helicopter just crashes at the exact same time. Really cool shot. I feel like that whole movie is based around that shot. Like they had that in their mind, and they're like, how do we make that, make that into a movie?
Kind of like Mission Impossible, where he's like hanging off the side of the
Yeah,
building.
he does that extreme sharding thing in the toilet stall.
Right.
And anyway, that's the whole movie. They get away, and then like, I love you, son. I love you, dad. They don't want to say it to each other though, because they're both men, so they're just
Oh
like,
God.
I really care about you. Yeah. And they walk away into the sunset, and I'm like, oh fuck you.
Well, at least
Fuck.
it was only an hour 38.
Yeah.
And
The movie got a 5.3 on
oh,
IMDb. I gave it a 4.
yeah, 5.3. I seen that. I'm like, wow. 5.3 on IMDb. That's
Yeah.
really bad.
I don't think it deserves a 5.3. I think it deserves less. For me, the ratings always go 6 is where I start to not mind the movie. So I look at it kind of like a school rating, like 60% is passing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
D minus.
Yeah.
So 53 is failing. So 53 I can live with this movie because that means it's failing. I gave it a 4 because it was. I could bump it up to a 5, but it just feels like it was lacking any charm. It was completely lacking subtlety. Had zero, almost negative subtlety, I'd say. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't charming. He didn't seem like he wanted to be there at all. Baby John McClane didn't seem like he wanted to be there at all. The bad guys weren't set up, and Bruce Willis, or I'm sorry, Die Hard is really good for their villains being like, I get what their goals are. This one, no idea. I honestly had no idea what he was going for. They didn't even reveal he was a villain until the last scene of the movie, so who gives a shit? The the action sequences weren't fun to watch. They weren't entertaining. They were just whatever for whatever's sake. It was just a failure all around. It wasn't fun to watch in any way. And I've already reviewed the movie for like an hour and a half, so on another episode. So that's really all I have to say. It's terrible.
It's hysterical that the entire synopsis of this movie on IMDb is literally 2 lines long.
I'm gonna
John
read it.
McClane travels to Russia to help out his seamlessly
See,
wayward son, seemingly wayward son, Jack, only to discover that Jack is a CIA operative working undercover, causing the father and son to team up against underworld forces.
is
What
that what
the
it's about?
fuck is
What?
underworld forces?
I think it's the Kate Beckinsale, the werewolves,
Sure.
the sources.
Well,
Let's wrap this up here in a nice little bow. Don't watch Die Hard 5, Frank. Just don't. I wish I could
I
go
have
back
it
and.
now, and I don't plan on it.
I'm a completist, though. If I love a series, I have to watch all of them, even though that means Indiana Jones 4, which was excruciating.
Oh, with the new one?
It's 9 years old now.
Well,
Yeah,
compared to the
newest.
30-year-old one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This, I would rather watch a good Die Hard than Indiana Jones 4. I would say that.
Oh, really? I wonder what IMDb has of that. I wonder if it's lower than a 5.3.
Indiana Jones 4, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Even isn't that asshole from Die Hard 4 in it?
Which one?
The long?
It's Shia LaBeouf in that movie.
Oh, God. Oh,
He swings from vine to vine with the goddamn monkeys,
oh God, I
and then he
hate
like
that guy.
it's over some cars in the jungle, and then there's people
Oh,
hiding in ancient pillars, and they pop out like they've been there for a minute, and I'm like, how are you built around ancient what? Do you remember that at all? They go into the Mayan temple at the end, and all of a sudden these guys pop out from the rubble, but it's like these ancient pillars that are set up, and they just jump out of it. I'm like, how were you there for centuries? What? Like, oh my god, it doesn't make any sense at all. None of it in the movie made any sense. And then there's aliens. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that movie can go fuck itself. Anyway, can we get out of here? Can we wrap this up here?
yeah, let's do it.
Um, Rate the movies really quickly because I have my ratings already.
Okay,
I'll go first if you want.
go right
'Cause I
ahead.
have, number one, I gave a 10. This is out of 10 stars. This is on IMDb. I give it a flat out 10. I don't care what you say. I give it.
It was a
eh.
perfect movie.
All right. So number two, a 7. It's a 7, which is weird because it's a 7.1. I don't care what rating already is. I judge it myself before I rate it on here. Number three, obviously, is a 10. Number four, I give a 6. It's a passable movie. I can watch it just fine. It has a 7.2. I don't. It doesn't deserve that. It has a higher rating than number two. That's weird. Number four or number five, excuse me, I gave a 4 to. So you've only seen the 4. So what would
Okay.
you give those 4 there? I
All
assume
right.
10.
Okay, so number one is a 10, perfect movie. Number two, I'll give it an 8 because it felt like a Die Hard movie, and so that's what I wanted. It's fun to pass along 2 hours. Uh, I mean, Die Hard with a Vengeance. I mean, again, it's a 10. Um, the the last one that I saw, which is 4, I'll give that one like a 5. Because I don't remember much of it. It's just I liked who was in it, but I thought the plot sucked. And 5, it was a 0 because I didn't see it, and I never will.
The way I described it, how would you rate it though?
0. I
A
mean,
0.
from what I read on IMDb, it's a 0. I mean, I don't even want to bother. Ugh.
I think you should watch it just so we can discuss it later. It does sound entertaining. Just so I want to hear your complaints about it. I think if you're a fan of Die Hard, you have to watch all of them, even though it's excruciating. It's like
By the way, I just want to let you know, Indiana Jones 5 will be out in 2020.
it will not because Harrison Ford will be dead by then. Anyway,
It's
it's
right
like
here.
you were married and be like, I want to watch my wife have sex, even her rape tape. That's what Die Hard 5 seems like to me.
Like, I gotta watch it because I'm invested so deeply
Yeah,
into everything
snuff
else.
film. I have to watch her snuff film, her final movie. I
It's like
have to watch it.
it's like 8 millimeter.
Yeah. Nick is going to show up, and then what did you expect? That guy's going to show up, and it's like, take my wife out. I have to watch that shit.
Never
And
understood how the music. How did he control the music? It was that fat fuck.
let's not get off there. Let's derail this train. We'll save that for Nick Cage Cast.
Okay,
Anyway,
cool.
you want to wrap up your show first, or you want me to do mine first? It doesn't matter, does it? I'll do
Well,
mine first because you're recording everything.
I just hit
You just
end.
go. You just cut. You
Boom.
just do it. You
Hard
gotta.
out.
I'll do mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was episode 70 of LIW Movie Review, also known as Loitering Wonderland. Go to liwstudios.com. Check out Loitering in Wonderland on YouTube. All the YouTube videos are also available on liwstudios.com. I should probably just start pitching that website instead. I've been thinking about this.
LIW Studios. I like it.
Goddamn calm. I've been making a bunch of holiday logos. Frank just gave it to them. They are
Hysterical.
a ton of fun. I don't know why they're so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I keep getting them, I save them, and I'm just gonna keep changing the avatar picture on Twitter for
Oh,
the
I'll send you
for the
better pictures,
season.
man. Don't save those.
I was gonna ask you for
I can send you the PMGs. Yeah, they're without the background, without the lines and shit.
I love
Looks
the
like
Easter one. I think
I'm
the
like,
Easter one should be the all around one. It is
it
so
doesn't make
good.
any sense though. It's a bunch of eggs and a bunny. Anyway, go check those out. You want to do your plugs real quick?
Way Off Topic Radio, everybody. You know what it is. At Linkz, it's double L N K Z. And make sure to follow Pez. That's Chris Pez without the vowels. Figure that out. Yep, ISCP podcast, the indiesportscarpodcast.com. Check all that stuff out. And also check me out on Phoenix's show, the LIW Twilight Zone review. It's awesome.
Yeah, what's
So,
the Twilight Zone review Twitter that you set up?
it is at LIW the TZ review.
Yeah, you got more aggressive than I ever have on, on Twitter. You tagged Tommy Lair in there. I saw that, and I was like, Jesus, man. All
Oh, did
right.
you see it? I'm like, yo, I found her.
Yeah. I was like, all right, we'll see how that goes. Anyway,
Don't care.
check out all of our shit there. Until next time, in the meantime, I am the one and only that guy whose name could possibly be or is a roundabout the Phoenix West. I can run out of things to say.
I'm Frank
Phoenix West.
Links.
Thank you so much for joining me, Frank. Thank you for having me on your show. I don't know which order we're doing.
Thanks for joining me and having me on your show. That's the
Thank you for joining me
funniest
and having
sentence
me.
I've ever heard.
Hey, I did that fairly quickly, though. I'm fairly proud of that.
I am really impressed. That
All
was
right,
really
so
quick and clever.
let's head out here, Frank. So long, citizens.
So long, all you assholes.
So long, asshole citizens. You
Well,
assholes.
don't know how to end the show, so Pez kind of does it like this.